Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic. Welcome back to the channel. And today what I have for you guys is another Ninjago Season 11 Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu episode review. Today, on August 3rd, in the United States of the America, we had episode 13 and 14. Episode 13 being the Explorers Club, and episode 14 being Vengeance is Mine. Now, last time I reviewed these, I love them. There were a few things, so hopefully today will be a little better. I did think about it on the way home to record. Of course, I don't have cable, so I had to go somewhere to watch these. But the Explorers Club essentially deals with, if you guys know Clutch Powers from the season, of course, he's part of this thing called the Explorers Club, and it's like a huge building/mansion thing where all these old explorers are kind of walking around, and it's basically like an elite society full of people who explore and find different artifacts. Kind of like the scene from Hellboy, in a way, 2019, for Killing Giants, if you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, this episode wasn't perfect. It definitely had a... see, my issue with Season 11 is the comedy, right? This is kind of the... not exploration. I'll say that. You're exploring... Tommy Andreasen and Braggy Shoot, of course, are all the writers. They're exploring different things in Ninjago. And this season really is about experimentation with the styles of animation. And of course, you also have the writing. And the writing in this episode is not perfect, as with the next one I'm going to talk about. I think this episode was a little funny, and it worked. But there are some episodes of the season that are just funny, but they don't work. They're not funny. They don't work, you know what I'm saying? So, all that out of the way, this episode, the Explorers Club, did have some funny moments, however, it worked. So that is a bit of a positive right there. So essentially, while Asphira and the Pyro Snakes are still trying to get into the monastery where the other ninja are hiding out, we see in this episode, Lloyd, Nia, and Zane try to break into the Explorers Club to get the second scroll of Secret Forbidden Spinjitzu. And with this 11-minute format, it kind of works, but it also doesn't. The best thing about these 11-minute formats is that like I said, we can see spin-offs and things on the sideline. So instead of just focusing this episode on, say, Asphira, we got to see, like I said, Nia, Zane, and Lloyd try to find this scroll. And it was really, really cool because it started off kind of funny with them trying to break in. Lloyd goes in and they're like, literally Ninjago's about to die. Can we have this? And the guy's like, no, you can't. You have to be a member. Sorry, guys. Basically, it's a bunch of old dudes who, as Nia called them, pencil pushers. And it's kind of funny. Zane tries to go undercover looking like Clutch Powers, like he does in Season 8 with Snake Jaguar. However, it doesn't work. So they have to resort to sneakily, ninja-ing, I guess, Assassin's Creed-ing, if you will, Batman-ing, and trying to get in there and steal the scroll. And, of course, chaos ensues as they're basically a chase scene throughout the mansion. But one of the coolest scenes of this episode is every door they go in, Zane freezes the handle so they can't open it. Of course they do, and they kind of go room to room. But in one of the rooms, Lloyd knocks over this thing, and it's like I don't remember what they called it, but it was like a sphere, and it was sucking a bunch of things in. Because again, this is the Explorers Club, so you have a bunch of artifacts from, Ninjago's history. And they're not all just, pencils and things from Uncharted. They actually are magical items. So, one of the things is sucking everything in. Nia knocks the thing over in the next room, and there's a bunch of flies and bugs. And then, of course, Lloyd also finds a mirror. Now, if you know Harry Potter, you know the mirror of Erised, which is desire backwards. Now, the Erised mirror in Harry Potter shows you what you want deep down. This mirror, which I don't believe has a name so far, it shows you what you do not want to be. So Lloyd looks in it, and he freaks out, and he draws a sword. He's like, what the heck? And he sees Garmadon. And I flipped out. I was like, oh! I flipped the F out, dude, because I haven't seen Garmadon so far in Season 11. It's really cool. And, so Lloyd sees Garmadon. Nia, which is really cool, Nia sees herself as Nia, but in a civilian outfit, which is cool because it's the same outfit in the Lego Ninjago movie when she's in high school, which is freaking awesome, and I love that. Zane looks in the mirror and sees himself, but it's just digits and codes. It's not the human part of him. So I thought that was really cool that they could kind of show something like that without being, too plot-heavy and too funny. I think this episode really balanced the humor, the action, and the plot device, so to speak, of them trying to get the scroll and going from room to room. It was really cool, and of course, eventually they find the scroll, they book it out of there, and that's the end of the Explorers Club. I'm going to give the Explorers Club a 9 out of 10. I thought it was a great episode. Again, some of the humor didn't land, most of it did, and there's a few, I didn't really mention this, but there's a few lines that were kind of strange. I wouldn't be able to pinpoint it, but as I'm watching it, I was like, yeah, that was basically. It's kind of weird because the Hagemans were perfect, and they're gone now, of course, which kind of sucks. But Braggy Shoot is doing a great I think it's Shoot. He's doing a great job, and he worked on a little bit of season 8 and 9. He did most of 10, and of course he's doing 11. He has a few co-writers as well, but I can tell it's not the Hagemans, and that's not a bad thing. But there's a few lines in this episode and a few others before, and the one I'm going to talk about, where I'm sitting there and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, man, this ain't the Hagemans, you know what I mean? Anyway, again, I'm going to give the Explorers Club a 9 out of 10. I thought it was a great episode. It had a lot of cool things, and it balanced everything pretty well in the meantime. So, the 14th episode out of the 15 is Vengeance is Mine. Now, this deals with Asphira breaking into the monastery, or the secret area where the ninja and Wu are hiding. And this is a very important episode, I'll say that. Very interesting and important. Because not only do we see a cool shot of Nia, Zane, and Lloyd getting to the other ninja and Wu, we see Lloyd touch the Forbidden Spinjitzu Scroll. And when he does that, if you see the Ninjago, the Season 11 sets, they aren't really called anything, it's just Ninjago. But if you know what the new sets are, you'll see they have the ninja with all the gi, you know, and their hood. It actually has like these flames coming out. Each character has different colored flames based on their elemental power. And Lloyd, of course, is green, so he touches it and it goes green. And Nia's like, hey, don't touch that. And Lloyd's like, okay, I'll be fine, I won't. And then he touches it and he gets freaking pissed. And Nia's like, Lloyd, what did I just tell you? And he's like, I got it, okay? And he gets really mad. And, of course, it was the scroll, you know, taking control over Lloyd and his powers, which is really cool. I thought that was kind of a really neat aspect to holding the power, because it has so much power. It's kind of like the, Season 4, when Kai held the power, Master Chen's staff with all the elemental powers. He kind of got pissed and red-eyed and power-hungry, you know? So that was kind of cool. And then, of course, the bulk of this episode is a fight scene between Asphira and the Pyro Snakes and the Ninja and Wu and all that. Now, there's one tiny negative I have. I'm going to get to the negatives first. Asphira loves the word revenge. She says it a lot. Like, a lot. There's also a lot of, again! It's like, shut the hell up. Every 5 seconds, she's screaming, again. And it's like, I get it. She wants the Pyro Snakes to, you know, basically kamikaze themselves into a door again. But Braggy, come on, man. Again. It's like, stop saying the word again. It's just a nitpicky. I'm a huge fan of the Hagemans, and I love you, Braggy. I love you, man. You're freaking awesome. But it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm being nitpicky. I don't know. Tell me in the comments. But her just saying again, it got kind of old after the first 100 times. And then, of course, there's a scene where basically everyone's outnumbered, and they're all at sword point, you know, and, you know, the Destiny's Bounty, or what the hell is it called? The Land Bounty. There it is. The Land Bounty lands, and so does Sane's helicopter. And Asphira's like, you got the scroll? The second scroll? And Lloyd's just like, I'm full of surprises. And they jump down and they start fighting. And I hate that line. You got the second scroll. I'm full of surprises. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. First of all, Braggy, it should have been, yeah, Asphira or something. We're full of surprises. We're, not I. Lloyd didn't do anything. He freaking knocked into something and he got all mad. Nia and Zane and Lloyd did something. Yeah, so saying, we're, you know, I don't know. It's just that line. Again, maybe I'm being nitpicky. But that's really the only negatives for this episode. It's just me being nitpicky. The bulk of it, like I said, is an action scene. And the best part is when they all charge and you see the Ninja and Wu and everyone fighting and the Pyro Snakes. Has a lot of great choreography, actually. The Ninjago, the show is getting a lot more focused on action and seeing the action. If you know from the previous seasons, we would see action. We'd see things happening, fists colliding, you know, kicking, all that. But we didn't really, it wasn't a whole lot. And now, starting with Season 7, Hands of Time, and now going into Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu, we have a lot more of connection with the blades and the punching and everything. It feels more chaotic and more, I don't know, kinetic, if you want to say. So it was really, really cool to do that. Also, there's a scene where Lloyd is fighting Asphira, and I love that, because they both have the scroll. Lloyd has a scroll, and Asphira has a scroll, and they're both doing Spinjitzu, but it's Forbidden Spinjitzu, so it's like this really powerful tornado, and they're like Beyblading, you know? They're just freaking smashing each other into, like, these tornadoes. She hits Lloyd, and the scroll flies out of Lloyd's hand, and then Cole gets it. And then it flies out of Cole's hand, and then Zane gets it, and then Kai. It was really cool, and I love that aspect, how every time a ninja would get knocked down, the scroll would fly into another ninja's hand, and the battle would keep going. Very, very awesome. Now, the end of this, of course, as you guys know, this is a spoiler-filled review. because I'm assuming, if I can talk, I'm assuming that you've seen it. That's why I'm talking about spoilers. So, if you really, I know I've been spoiling everything so far, but if you really don't want to know what happens in the end of Vengeance is Mine, and I know next week is episode 15, A Cold Goodbye, which is the end of the Fire chapter, because Fire chapter is 15, Ice chapter is the last 15. So yes, this is not the last episode of the Fire chapter. However, this episode does have a lot of spoilers in the end. So again, if you do not want to be spoiled, if you have not seen episode 14 yet, I don't know, like the video, subscribe, and leave, because I don't want to spoil you guys if you don't want it. Anyway, now that I have that out of the way, basically, Zane gets the scroll, and he basically slams a sword or whatever into the ground and freezes all the pyro snakes, including Asphyra. But her hand is still free, and of course she's a witch. So, with that being said, they're all partying, you know, oh, we got her. And Asphyra shoots a bolt, and of course Zane's vision from the beginning of the series he keeps having. I don't know if that's exactly this vision, because in the vision he was more diving, and this one he just kind of like stood there a little bit. But Asphyra shoots a magical bolt of magic, I guess, and you know, Zane jumps out of the way a little bit, and it's about to hit Wu, but it hits Zane, and he kind of like goes like this, and it hits his shoulder pad, and he just disappears. And everyone's like, oh my God, Zane's dead. Now, first of all, I do want to say something. This is not a negative whatsoever. It's just me. Tommy Andreasen, Braggy, Hagemans, if you're involved now, whatever. Zane died in Season 3. Then he came back. Zane died in Season 8. Then he came back. I know Ninjago is appropriate for kids, but it's also a show that is widely loved by teenagers and adults too. It's for all ages. So, if you keep killing Zane off and then bringing him back, it doesn't have any emotional weight. So with that being said, when Zane does disappear, I know he's not dead, duh, but every time someone dies and then comes back, you feel like they're actually gone. You care. I didn't care this time. I was just like, oh, Zane's gone again. Whoop-de-frickin-do. But all the ninja are like, oh my God! And yeah, I mean, you know, I'm a huge fan. Ninjago's probably my favorite franchise of all time, so I did feel some remorse that Zane's gone. I love Zane. But it didn't have the emotional way that, like, Season 3 had, or even the fight scene in Season 8 between him and Mr. E in the canyon. So, with that out of the way now, Zane gets zapped, and they're all flipped out, and they're like, oh my God, where's Zane? And essentially it kind of, like, skips a little bit in time. Asphyra does not look like a pyro snake anymore. She's the normal blue snake, I believe Serpentine, and she is in the same prison that Garmadon was in March of the Oni, Season 10. And Wu mourns. Wu's like, look, you wanted me. Why did you have to take Zane? He was really kind. He was a great ninja. He was a great person. He died a bunch of times. Why did you take him again? And Asphyra blatantly tells him, hey, I didn't kill Zane. I didn't even want to kill you, Wu. That rhymed. I just wanted to make you suffer. Kind of like Harumi. And in my opinion, suffering is worse than death. Death is quick. Painless. Suffering is painful. And that is what a villain wants. And not that I like suffering, trust me, I'm the most happy person in the whole world. But when it comes to that storytelling perspective, that was good. Now, we see Asphyra tell him, yeah, again, Zane's not dead. I banished him to the Never Realm. Never, not nether, never realm. Like, I will never eat peas again. It's Never Realm. So, with that, Wu knows what, we don't know what it is as a viewer, but Wu knows what the Never Realm is, so he books it out of there. He's like, yeah. So he runs away, and then, of course, Asphyra laughs, and then we get a brief shot of the Never Realm, which is this whole ice-ridden planet, and we see footsteps indicating Zane is there. So, Zane is not dead, he is in the Never Realm, and again, it's a little strange because there's still one more episode in the Fire chapter, which is called A Cold Goodbye. So, yeah, man, it's crazy, I love it. Again, there's a few inconsistencies with this Season 11, I think the writing could be a little better in times. The animation, I still don't like the animation when they run. It looks really weird. Season 11 almost gives off a very B-movie type feel to what Ninjago is. It doesn't feel as loved as Season 1 through 10 is. Now, I'm not saying that Season 11 is bad. I love Season 11, and it's amazing. But some of the animation could be worked on a little bit. Some of the writing could be a little less jokey and more serious that we know. Because again, in my eyes, when the Ninjago TV show gets too funny, it falls flat on its face, and it is not funny. So again, Season 11 is more of an experimental season, seeing what sticks and what hits the fan. But we'll have to see. But again, I loved these two episodes, and I'm going to give Vengeance is Mine a 10 out of 10. Yes, I have a little issue with that whole Lloyd thing, but other than that, that's barely anything. It was just me. So yeah, I love him, and I can't wait to see A Cold Goodbye, which is the finale of Part 1 of Season 11, which is the Fire chapter. So, with all that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Sorry if it's a little long, but a lot of stuff happens in this, and it was crazy. So I loved it, man. Ninjago was such a great series, and I'm glad it's continuing, and I'm glad it's not getting super kiddie. I hope it never does. I hope it continues to be for all ages, as this show is doing. So hopefully, Season 12, or if they're still writing the Ice chapter, hopefully it won't be too jokey. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it, and I love these 2 episodes, and I cannot wait to see A Cold Goodbye. So again, tell me in the comments what you thought about these, what you think the state of Ninjago. Do you think it's in a good state or kind of a limbo state? Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you're not, and hit the like button for videos basically every day, and we'll see you guys in the next video.